day to be at home.
Period.
And don't think it didn't impact my husband. He was mortified. Of course, like how embarrassing. Your mom gets mad at you and your girlfriend because you come earlier than the agreed upon time. Like,
and it's not just that. It's not that she's mad that you're coming earlier than the agreed upon time. It's that she expects you to sacrifice Christmas with your family and only spend it with hers and to prioritize her faith and her family Christmas. That's what's annoying. I'm curious to know how you guys do it because it was easy this past Christmas because my parents came here. We all had Christmas together, but like Christmas Day was like all over the place. I had Christmas morning at Mike's mom's house. That's his mother-in-law. Weird. Then I came back and had Christmas morning with my parents. Then Mike left and had Christmas with his dad. So it was a lot. It was a lot of like jumping around. And then everybody else came for Christmas dinner at our house. So that's kind of how we did it. But it was like also kind of like, oh God, now we got to spend Christmas morning with other people. Like there's only one Christmas morning. And it's kind of hard to like separate it. Curious how you guys do it, especially when there's kids involved. Like how do you separate the Christmas festivities? Back to the story, it's just another way for her to be controlling, honestly, to control the situation, to kind of set the tone for your relationship so that you kind of have to tiptoe around and always make her happy. Same different shtick.
my mom told her friend that she actually miscarry if we are able to successfully conceive.
Whoa.
To spend Mother's Day with her in Rapid City, South Dakota. But my dad passed away a few months before that trip. And when he passed away, something in my soul really changed. And I was out on a morning walk with my husband, and it just kind of came to my realization that I did not want to go on this trip with him and his mom. And that really took my by surprise because he and I pretty much always are together on trips. And I knew that was going to be something that was probably going to be hard for him to understand on why I wouldn't want to go on a vacation with him. So I was at the time getting counseling for my dad's passing and was able to process my emotions and feelings of why I just couldn't share a same space with someone who was so toxic and hateful towards me after losing my last parent.
For sure.
It was at this point when both my parents had passed and I had no living grandparents, but I realized I didn't want to be around figures in my life that was supposed to be
Parental.
like parents.
Yeah.
When we were really, truly just choose to not see anything positive about it.
Totally.
It was really okay in the end going to Santa Cruz with his mom and her boyfriend without me. I didn't have FOMO, which is fear of missing out. I wanted them to enjoy their time. And I was back home taking care of the homestead and enjoying my time, not being around someone who just really truly hates me. And she thought that she wanted me in because I didn't want to go, so she got her son all to herself. But again, he really takes into account that blood is thicker than water. And if you don't know what that meaning is, just go back to my videos because I go over that saying, because it's not what a lot of you think it is. I do still encourage my husband to reach out to his mom and talk to her on the phone and text and spend time with her when life allows. And because I don't have FOMO, I'm not worried about being a part of the conversation or being around her ever.
Bestie, you sound healed. You sound so calm. You processed that grief. You decided that there's certain energies that you just don't want to be around. And that, my friends, is what it's like to heal from your recovering people pleaser disease. You gotta start understanding that you cannot be giving energy, your precious time and energy and emotion, to people that drain it.
Okay.
If there are people in your life that you know are energy vampires, okay, they do things to you, they say things to you.
1% of my shots. Majority of what we do are...
Hours, I counted 46 illegal lotteries. At one point, Mr. Beast is informed that they ran out of PlayStations and says, are we trying to not sell merch?
Our city is sold out of PlayStations. We don't have any. We have to give up... What? Are we trying to not sell merch?
So he probably knows that they're making more money by running these illegal lotteries. Another shady thing he did was constantly suggest that they're doing too many giveaways to make a profit.
My guy over there doing the numbers is like, stop! Like, did you realize every time you give away an Xbox at $1,000, you don't make money? I'm like, oh.
And there's just no way they were ever even close to losing money on the stream.
Jimmy has recently addressed the illegal lottery allegations and whether or not he thinks he ran an illegal lottery.
Just to be truthful.
Enter. A little bit of mixed messaging. Remember, his audience is predominantly 10-year-old boys, and they may not understand the nuance behind what Jimmy is saying. They may think that they need to buy a t-shirt in order to increase their odds for the lottery. It doesn't necessarily mean it's illegal, but it's definitely a little shady. Dogpack 404's video was massively viewed by the public, and after he made his claims, different commentary YouTubers also spoke about the topic. Suddenly, the idea that Mr. Beast might not be as authentic as he makes himself appear online, as well as charitable, started to spread, and there began a concerted effort to try and discredit Dogpack 404's claims by current Mr. Beast employees. A current Mr. Beast employee identified as Chucky came forward to try and defend Jimmy Donaldson. He posted a statement onto X saying, I quickly want to debunk some of the info in this video, since the guy who made it was on my team. It was my decision to fire him for erratic behavior. He worked with the company for less than a month and wasn't an employee for most of the videos he mentioned to have knowledge on. Chucky also revealed Dogpack 404's name, which is Dawson. Chucky makes the lofty claim that Dawson admitted on Reddit to being under the influence of drugs during the filming of his video, which I'm guessing was an attempt to discredit Dawson. While some things that Dawson said have proved to be inaccurate or not entirely accurate, as I'm sort of explaining in this video, I still think that it's extremely strange that instead of trying to shed light on some of the inaccuracies in Dawson's video, the team members of Mr. Beast just went right to attacking him, trying to label him as a drug user. But Dogpack 404 didn't seem to be too concerned with these tactics and came out with a second video. Dawson uploaded a second video titled, I worked for Mr. Beast. He's a sociopath. Dawson collaborated with another former employee named Jake Weddle. Jake previously worked for Mr. Beast on videos like Dumpster Diving, 100 Dumpsters, Extreme Hide and Seek, Make the Shot, Win $300,000.
There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and we usually moved up, had more screen time. I consistently was in the half that Jimmy did. Jimmy did fine, that's fine.
Seem very transparent to the public. And when you're as massive of an influencer as Mr. Beast, transparency is everything. Our charitable, caring king has disappeared behind a wall of corporate jargon. There's also been a lot of talk about how this investigation is pretty obviously biased. Jimmy literally paid someone to find him innocent. Jimmy was asked if he was going to sue Dawson and said in a roundabout way that yes, Jimmy is planning a case against Dawson.
Are you going to sue Dogpack?
Well, there's tons of examples of him intentionally manipulating things to not be true. I mean, I've literally had people pull out millions of dollars and then tell me it was directly because of his video. Don't worry, I instantly was like, can you send that in writing so, you know, if I win a case or anything, I can directly point damages. No reason why.
I'm not a legal expert and I don't know if the case has any grounds. From what I've heard, defamation is extremely hard to prove. There have been some things Dawson claimed as absolute truths that aren't necessarily as black and white. And in this video, I've shown the other perspective of things, case by case, as each new situation is brought up. People have also claimed that Dogpack is nothing but a disgruntled former employee of Mr. Beast, claiming that he grew bitter after he parted on bad terms with the company and was let go. And alleged leaked audio messages of Dawson's firing have been spread online.
Because you're trying to fire me, and I want to work at this company.
I'm the CEO of this company. I'm talking from control. And I'm telling you this is what happened, and you're telling me that I'm wrong. I am not wrong. I've made a decision. Here, we will take care of it.
I appreciate that. Can I please have a second chance?
The thing is, I feel like I've seen that argument before with countless different whistleblowers. A whistleblower comes out with important information or wrongdoings about a company, and then they're labeled as disgruntled or bitter because they were let go of that company. or no longer working for them. Not only does it feel like a very surface level attempt to discredit any claims someone makes, but it also feels like a logical fallacy, focusing on the person themselves and any wrong things they can nitpick about them, instead of focusing on the actual allegations and disputing those allegations. Because if a company did a lot of wrong things, then yeah, an employee is probably going to be bitter and disgruntled about that. And that doesn't mean that everything Dawson has done is perfect, or that Dawson is a hero and Jimmy is a villain. No one is solely morally good or morally evil, and I hope this video on Mr. Beast proves that case. Ultimately, Dawson's videos raised a lot of important concerns surrounding the Mr. Beast company work environment and team. And with all the news surrounding the wrongdoings of the Mr. Beast games, I think there needs to be a fundamental change in the operations of the Mr. Beast empire.
We'll be back. Consistency.
Due for the chance to win $5 million. Several contestants ended up speaking to the New York Times about the intake process, and the contestants were reportedly asked whether they'd be willing to be buried alive or travel to space.
The stakes have never been higher.
When you think about a person being asked if they'd be willing to go to those extremes, you realize how dangerous these video concepts are in general. Putting people through all of this dangerous actions so you can film their reactions for good content while they're clearly desperately trying to win money that could change their entire lives in future. And the more desperate, the better. So you can get those tear-jerking clips about how badly these people need the money, all to put into your content. That's not exploitative at all. He's just a generous, kind guy. It's also clear that Jimmy's concepts are escalating more and more, but at what cost?
This challenge might be the most cutthroat thing I've ever done. There are Navy SEALs coming for you. With massive challenges. Welcome to the elimination train!
That has never been done on TV before.
Shooting for the competition started in July of this year, and the competition started with 2,000 contestants, and all of these contestants were crammed into the Allegiant Stadium in Nevada. These 2,000 people had to all stay within the stadium, eating, sleeping, and living there. Applicants were required to sign a contract reviewed by the Times that said, "I understand that such activities may cause me death, illness, or serious bodily injury, including but not limited to exhaustion, dehydration, overexertion, burns, and heat stroke." And during the competition, a lot of contestants were put in danger. Over a dozen participants who competed in the first round of Beast Games spoke to the New York Times, and these contestants claimed they weren't even given proper food during the competition.
Given maybe 400 calories a meal and only fed every 12 hours. Food would run out and people would fight over, steal, and hoard food. Water was scarce and kept running out as well.
While doing all of these extreme challenges in Nevada in the middle of July. That sounds like hell. On a few occasions, production staff handed out feastable chocolate bars and then filmed people eating it and saying how much they liked the chocolate for an advertisement placement, instead of getting them proper nutrition that they needed to be able to do the competition. And things were even worse for people with food allergies and dietary restrictions. Several contestants claimed that they were fed food they were allergic to, and alternatives weren't provided, nor were they given proper medical care, and some competitors suffered serious injuries from the challenges, and the competitions required them to move heavy objects and compete. Top of my research document. If you want to learn more about Elysion and this topic in general, I highly encourage you to check out this website specifically.
Balvenie whiskey, made by Ian, Kelsey, and 41 other wholehearted makers.
Oh my goodness.
Elysion recounts his own birth in a journal entry titled Umbilical of Death. I was born silently and blue. My head was 14 and a half inches around, and my chest was 13 and a half. Now, about the umbilical cord. It was wrapped around my neck 3 times. They had to cut it off as soon as I was born. I guess that was easier without movement. By latching onto the chain, connected to nothing. The chain fell with me, and the only way my stepfather had known I fell tingles by the screams I let out as I rubbed my head in pain. Through his early childhood, Onision detailed 2 events where he had suffered traumatic head injuries. Based on multiple studies, traumatic brain injuries are linked to a decline in mental health. TBI often results in impairing and persistent mental illnesses, such as ADHD, aggression, personality change, in addition to broad social, cognitive, and social function impairment. Early on, Greg documented an obsession towards relationships and a tendency towards violence. Like in his entry, First Fight, around 2nd grade, I thought I fell in love with a girl, so I spent time with her every day. One day, a boy had decided to tell me she was his girlfriend. He said some nasty things, so I asked her if she minded watching me beat him. She said she did not, so I turned around and began swinging his head.
And so she couldn't get back in because she didn't want to get back in.
Then Shiloh went for a walk and passed out 3 miles away from the house. He guessed it was either from stress or exhaustion, but confirmed that Shiloh was okay.
She walks 3 miles down the road and passes out, probably from exhaustion or maybe from stress. Who knows? The point is that she's okay. I just want to establish that she is okay.
The fire department brought Shiloh back to Greg's house to tell him that they were taking her to the hospital.
So the fire department rolls up, and they get her back on her feet, and they bring her back here to let me know that they're going to take her to the hospital.
The ambulance driver returns to the door to tell Greg to talk to Shiloh in the ambulance because she's refusing treatment.
And the ambulance driver comes up to me and asks me to go talk to Shiloh. I go and talk to Shiloh out in the ambulance, and Shiloh refuses medical treatment. As I have said, she always refuses medical treatment when she feels she doesn't need it.
Greg claims he just proved everything. He states that he shares all these things so that we, the viewers, can learn from his experiences.
This isn't some bullshit reality show. This is real life. There is no director. It's just me and Shiloh. Okay? And the reason we share it with you guys is so you can learn from these things.
On December, Shiloh made a Facebook status saying, "So we went to go listen to him." He uploaded a video titled "The Truth Hurts, But So Do Your Lives," where Onision said that not only did Shiloh cheat on him, but she also said mean things about him on her Facebook.
This gets thrown on my lap. Oh, by the way, she cheated on you. And on top of that, she posts things on Facebook saying mean things about me. And it's like, okay, so you cheat on me, you lie to me, and then you say these mean things about me. And I'm just supposed to move on like you never betrayed me. Before this can all be over, I don't want it to all end as if she's somehow a good person in all this.
He questioned if she was ever pregnant with his child.
She lied to me about being pregnant with our child. She lied about medical conditions.
He told Shiloh he wanted his $1,700 back.
Shiloh, I want my money back too, by the way. The $300 that I sent you to get your passport to come home, I want that back. And then the other $300 that I sent you to get the passport money, because you lost you got the first $100 stolen and spent the other $200 already. And then $1,100 I sent you, I want that back too for the rent that you never even used, according to your statements.
And he begins to dramatically breathe heavier and tells Shiloh to tell her future partners that she's a cheater.
And in the future, when you're with somebody else, you better let them know that you're a cheater. Let them know.
It did not work with me as much. I was seen as very crazy. Because every meltdown I had in my teenage years that was, memorable, that I look back and think, wow, that was really something I'll never forget, was recorded.
In a live stream, when asked if he felt responsible for the break in Shiloh's music career, Greg said, "If you guys want to blame me for that, you can. Because I can make a connection as to why Shiloh's no longer singing and my introduction into her life. If I could go back and erase that, give her a future, I would. But the key thing is that she never told me being in her life was going to risk her career. And she actually said it was the opposite, that everything would be fine.
Shiloh has repeatedly communicated that it's my fault that her career didn't work out. So if you guys want to blame me for that, you can. Because I can actually make a connection as to why Shiloh is no longer singing and my introduction into her life. If I could go back and erase that and give her a future, I would.
After witnessing Greg's emotional breakup with Shiloh in late February of 2012, Adrienne sent Greg an email. In the email, Adrienne says she saw his breakup video and it reminded her of what she went through with one of her exes. She says even though what Greg said about her was hurtful and cruel, she's apologizing for the hurtful things that she said out of anger, offering friendship, and gave him her number. So Onision uploaded the video Total Victory, where Onision claims that he has been the good guy in all of his relationships because he was the one that ended all of the relationships that he's been in the past 5 years.
Hey guys, I'm thinking of calling this video Onision is a great guy or Onision is innocent, something like that, because of the fact that I am. Is that every relationship that has ended in my life in the last 2 years has been on my terms when it came to the final termination.
He also claimed that all of the women that hate him do so only because they were rejected by him.
Every single person who has a legitimate problem with me right now, who was formerly a friend or a lover, was dumped by me. That says a lot of good things for all the people who have been supporting me all this time.
This is some of the most disgusting victim-blaming bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Onision has an obsession over claiming victory over his former love interests, stating he was the victor of these relationships and could not have
as a gift to her new daughter.
Perfume.
You guessed it.
The perfume?
Perfume she wore at the wedding.
Oh my god. What a little bat.
What a little bit. It was actually high quality, so we sold it and took ourselves out for a nice date night.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, mother-in-law. Also, Charlotte, I love you. Oh, I love you too.
What about
I'm so sorry
me?
this happened. Hey, don't move. I'm sorry this happened to you on your wedding day. That is terrible. You make my bad days better and my weddings are better with your stories and giggles.
I just want you to know that I would change my clothes for you any day of the week.
Literally.
I would.
Of course.
So easy.
Why not? It's literally so simple. It's different.
Eso resuelve. No, ¿por qué te lo viste?